The simple view of reading and why people struggle with reading. The simple view of reading is a model which suggests that someone's ability to read is based on two things: their ability to decode words and their ability to comprehend a piece of writing. Decoding is the ability to recognize the letters in a word and understanding how they link together to form understandable words. In schooling, decoding starts in reception or nursery, with children recognizing that letters have names and sounds, A or A, T or T. This develops into CVC words like dog or hat, onto words like stop and cross, all the way up to words like awkward and profession in years 5 and 6. Decoding is like code breaking, and there is a lot of knowledge required to be able to decode accurately. Most words, but not all words, in English follow clear rules. For example, if we take the word pet, where the first E makes an E sound, and add another E to the end, the word becomes Pete, and the E changes to an E. Words that sound like they end in shun are almost never spelt that way, and instead are most likely to end in SION, SSION, TION, or CIAN. However, some are harder to understand. Why does the word most rhyme with host, but not frost and lost? Why are there so many different ways of pronouncing OUGH? Why isn't this word pronounced duvet, or this word pronounced stomach? The good thing is that for almost all words in English where the spelling seems strange, there will be a reason and a rule behind it, and these can be taught. Comprehension is the ability to understand a piece of writing, and it encompasses many different skills or elements. In schools, comprehension tasks require children to read a piece of text, usually one they haven't seen before, absorb it, and then answer questions about the text. A simple view of some of the skills required to be good at comprehension is summed up in the acronym VIPERS, which stands for vocabulary, the number of words that a reader knows and understands; inference, the ability to read between the lines and reach a conclusion based on a combination of what's in the text and what the reader already knows; prediction, the ability to make sensible predictions about what may happen in a story based on prior knowledge and details taken from the book; explain, the ability to explain one's own opinions of a text, or how or why an author has chosen to do things in a certain way. For example, the layout, or why they've chosen to include or leave out certain words in their writing. Retrieval is the ability to find and record information or words from a text. And summarize, the ability to summarize an entire book or part of a book or a piece of text. So the simple view of reading uses scales to show a person's ability to decode words and to comprehend a piece of writing. The model aims to profile a person's ability to read by placing them in one of 4 quadrants. In the top left are people who are poor decoders but show a good ability to comprehend a piece of writing. These people often have good general knowledge but will have specific difficulties when it comes to reading the words. This is the quadrant most associated with dyslexia, but not everyone in this quadrant will be dyslexic. Those who would be placed in the bottom right quadrant are people who show a good understanding of decoding and spelling, but they struggle to comprehend a piece of writing. It's harder to understand why people in this group are struggling with their reading. One reason may be a lack of vocabulary, in that they can read and say out loud unfamiliar words, but they don't know what they mean. Compared to their age, the number of words that they understand and know is lower, which limits their ability to take in a piece of writing. Another problem could be a lack of background knowledge, so the content in the text is alien to them, and they've got nothing to help them anchor what they've read into their memory and/or to visualize what's going on. In the top right, we've got people who are good at decoding and comprehension. These people often have a good understanding of phonics and spelling rules, a lot of background knowledge, and they read widely, not just focusing on one series of books or one genre. And in the bottom left corner are the weakest readers. These are people who really struggle with reading, as their decoding and comprehension are both below average. For people in this group, even when a piece of text contains words that they are completely comfortable with and that they can decode accurately, they still struggle to comprehend the text. This dual weakness makes it incredibly difficult to remedy, and people in this group often need intervention from specialist reading teachers. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful.